to the Yankees. Doesn't get any easier. Here come the Boston Red Sox, who in spite of losing their last two, Buck, they've still got the best record in baseball at 17-4. How they getting it done?
Well, Dan, there aren't many perfect teams in baseball, but the Red Sox are very close. They have every aspect of the game that you want covered. They hit, they field, they pitch. And the leadoff man, Mookie Betts, 25 years old. This home run he hit on Thursday night in Anaheim is a leadoff home run. His 13th career leadoff home run, and you talk about a table setter. He can set the table, and he can clean the table off himself as well. He is truly a terrific player, an MVP candidate each and every year. And then from the mound, the starters for the Red Sox have been terrific, and Rick Porcello has recaptured the form he had in 2016 when he won the Cy Young. He still elevates the fastball very effectively. The cutter is good, but the changeup has really made a difference in the start for Porcello this season. He's off to the best start of his career.
Here come the Blue Jays to take the field, get us ready for the first game of this three-game series. And the Red Sox, like a number of teams, including the team the Blue Jays just saw in the Yankees, they've got a new manager this year, and it's another first-time manager. Alex Cora is the skipper of the Boston Red Sox, and he's out of the gate with a flourish right now at 17-4, the best mark in all of baseball. Here's a look at the Red Sox lineup, and Buck just talked about Mookie Betts. I mean, he's about as good as it gets, and he was about as painful as it gets for Blue Jays and their fans last year in this ballpark, doing a lot of damage at the plate and on the base paths as well. And with Xander Bogaerts still on the DL with an ankle injury, Brock Holt's getting a lot of time at shortstop, and he's swinging the bat well on a 6-game hitting streak with 4 extra base hits in those games.
Jay Happ will make the start for the Blue Jays in this series opener, and Happ has pitched well against Boston in the past for his career. He's got a 7-3 record with a very impressive 322 earned run average. Jay, like Porcello's, off to a good start. He's 3-1. He's thrown 22 innings in those 4 games. And yeah, he's gotten a lot of run support, but he's done a pretty good job of using his high fastball. And the Red Sox have had trouble against Jay Happ in the past.
Let's take a look at the defense for the Blue Jays. You'll see that Devin Travis is in the game at second base tonight, and a guy who got a big cheer in the pregame introductions. Teoscar Hernandez is in left.
Yeah, we're highlighting Teoscar in left field because Jay, the left-handed starter, pitching to this potent right-handed lineup of the Red Sox, he could see a lot of action in left field. They are a pull-oriented team because their home ballpark is Fenway Park, and it features the Green Monster, so Teoscar could be key for Jay Happ tonight.
So here's Mookie Betts to get it started tonight here in Toronto. And a first pitch swing and a pop-up off the bat of Betts. Maybe a play in foul territory. Smoak is there, and that's a big first out, getting Betts on one pitch.
Well, that's something that Mookie Betts has done by design this year. He's always ready to hit that first pitch, something he hasn't done in the past. That Alex Cora is the one that encouraged him to do that. But on this night, one pitch, one out. He went after that Happ fastball.
And Happ will take it. Now he'll face a left-handed batter, and Andrew Benintendi, the young left fielder for the Red Sox, who's never had a hit in his career off Happ. 0 for 10 in his big league career coming into this game. Benintendi hitting .243, just 1 home run in the early going. But a guy who has certainly shown in his brief major league career that he has a lot of talent.
Well, he reminds me an awful lot of young Fred Lynn when Lynn broke in the 70s with the Red Sox. He's got power. He's a good defender. He can play center. He can play left. And Benintendi is just 23 years old. He won't turn 24 until July.
1-1 and a fastball right over the outside corner as Happ jumps out in front. For Jay Happ, his 5th start of the regular season, including, of course, opening day. And 2 years ago, a 20-game winner, second in the league in wins behind only Rick Porcello. Last year missed some time with an elbow problem, but when healthy, Buck, about as consistent as they come.
Yeah, and that's what managers want. He is very reliable. When you send Jay Happ to the mound, you know you're going to get the best he has to offer.
And a swing and a miss and a pitch up in the zone, 2 down.
Well, Jay has the ability to elevate that fastball. He does it as well as anybody. And he has been a terrific when facing the Boston Red Sox. His last 8 starts against Boston, his ERA is under 2, the bonus batting average is under 200, and the whip just over 1, and he's kept the ball in the ballpark. This is a very powerful hitting team, especially this season, and Jay's team has won 6 of those 8 starts he's made against Boston.
So 2 down here in the top of the first. Here's Hanley Ramirez, the first baseman tonight for the Red Sox. And a first pitch swing and a ground ball to short, scooped up by Diaz. And how about that? 3 up, 3 down on only 7 pitches for Jay Happ here in the top of the first against the Red Sox. Rivals open up a 3-game series. And let's take a look at John Gibbons' lineup that he puts on the field for the Blue Jays tonight. Teoscar Hernandez can't get him out of there. He's in left field, batting second, hitting a robust .343 on the young season for the Blue Jays. And Steve Pearce gets a start for the Jays tonight. He's got some numbers against Rick Porcello. That's why he's in the lineup.
Yeah, as well as Porcello's throwing, you got to stack the lineup with as many hitters that have had success against him as you can. Porcello, a perfect 4-0 in his 4 starts. His control has been off the charts. His whip is under 1. He is averaging 8 strikeouts per 9 innings, and look at, he has walked 1 batter, and that came in his first start. The 3rd inning of game 1 for Porcello. He hasn't walked anybody since.
And Blue Jay hitters well aware of that as Granderson takes a strike right over the outside corner. Curtis Granderson leading off in right field tonight, hitting .294 with a couple of home runs and a very good on base percentage. One thing Granderson has always been able to do is take a walk, but we'll see if Porcello has any command issues at all here tonight. He works crisply, as you can see. The slider taken down at him, 2 balls and a strike. Coming into the season, Buck, I think a lot of people looked at the rotation for the Red Sox and said, well, if there's a weakness on this team, maybe it's there. Late strike call, and it's 2-2, but that certainly has not been the case. You know what you're going to get from Chris Sale. But if Porcello is the 2016 version of himself, that's a huge boost for Boston.
Yeah, anytime you have a 1-2 like that.
Good changeup right there to get him swinging. Let's check out the defense behind Rick Porcello tonight, including the guys we mentioned getting a lot of playing time at short.
Brock Holt has started in every position on the field except catcher. This is his 7th start at shortstop. Their regular shortstop, Xander Bogaerts, is out, and they hope to get him back by Friday. But Holt is a very valuable guy that can play all over the diamond for you and play very good defense.
Teoscar Hernandez, who just continues to make friends and fans amongst Blue Jays Nation with what he is doing. And right now he's an everyday player for the Blue Jays, hitting second. Hit a home run in Sunday's loss to the Yankees, the only run that the Blue Jays had. What's your take on him? You saw him in September. You've seen him in the spring. You've seen him for a couple of weeks now. What do you like?
I like the fact that he's really recognizing balls and strikes. He has really shown great patience at the plate this season. He waited back on that slider and had a good cut at it. I just think he now understands that to be a successful big league hitter, you have to hit strikes, and you can't chase balls out of the strike zone.
Fouls back that high fastball.
You mentioned a home run he hit on Sunday in New York against Luis Severino. It's the first home run Severino surrendered all season long. Rick Porcello has not given up a home run as well. So he's hitting the tough pitchers.
You know,
there's a good example of that take right there.
And he's a guy too, whether he's on the field, in the clubhouse, got a smile on his face. I mean, and why not? He's in the big leagues and he's doing well, but he always looks like he's happy to come to the ballpark. That kind of thing can be contagious. There's the changeup, and he fouled it off his own foot. And that's a nasty pitch. We saw it down and away to Granderson to strike him out, and that one broke down and in to the right-hand hitting Hernandez.
He threw it on a 3-1 count to Granderson and got a strike back into the count, and then he struck him out with it. And this has got a lot of late movement. You see that ball topped onto his back foot, and he's going to try to walk it off and get the feeling back in that. But that's what Porcello has been since he first came to the big leagues, a sinker ball pitcher that pitches inside the righties, and you've got to be very selective chasing that inside pitch, whether it's a sinker or that changeup.
Also has the slider. We've seen the four-seam fastball up in the zone as well. So a good mix of pitches for Rick Porcello. Look at the movement. That's the sinker. It wasn't down, but look at how much it ran in on the hands of Teoscar Hernandez.
Yeah, he has gotten back to what he first was when he came up with the Tigers, and the same he pitched in 2016. He's trusting that sinker again.
3-2. And there's a walk, just the second given up this season by Porcello.
Well, without question, that's the biggest improvement in Teoscar Hernandez's game. His ability to lay off tough pitches. And you mentioned that he hadn't walked anybody since his first start way back against Tampa Bay.
So the Blue Jays with a one-out base runner here in the bottom of the first, scoreless game in the opening game of a three-game series. And here's Justin Smoak, who has 3 career home runs off Porcello, 8 for 30 against him overall. That's a .267 average. And lays off a little bit high.
The reason Smoak has been able to hit 3 home runs against Porcello is Porcello's strength overall is down, and Smokey's a very good low ball hitter. So you saw Porcello try to elevate that first cutter and missed upstairs. So you have him going against his strength.
Boy, another good take there. It's interesting when a guy throws as many strikes as Porcello does, you think you'd be in swing mode. You don't want to fall behind 0-2, but Smoak's taking a couple of pitches close to the zone, but not in there. Sandy Leon behind the plate for the Red Sox. Decent speed at first for Teoscar Hernandez. Shift on with 3 on the right side for the Red Sox against Smoak. Batting from the left side as a switch hitter against Porcello. Red Sox come in 17-4. The Blue Jays are 4 games back. They're in second in the American League East, 13-8, a game ahead of the Yankees. Changeup on a 2-1 count, in for a strike.
Yeah, and that's the big difference, because that changeup looks exactly like his 2-seam fastball, but it's 9 miles an hour softer. And that's a really good pitch for him to get back in the counts.
Well, Blue Jay fans well aware with the value of a changeup from watching Marco Estrada in recent years and his ability to throw it in any count. 2-2 on the way, and then he freezes him with a fastball over the inner half for out number 2.
Yeah, that's the comeback 2-seamer that he starts off the plate inside to Justin Smoak, and watch the movement. There's the grip, and that ball is spinning back toward the plate, catches the inside corner. Sandy Leon does a good job of receiving that pitch. You can see he got plenty of the plate. Smoak probably thinking about getting the changeup the same way that Porcello finished off Granderson.
So 2 down now. Hernandez still at first, and the batter is the third baseman, Yangervis Solarte, who's basically the everyday third baseman right now. John Gibbons was asked about Josh Donaldson before the game, and he said he will have more information to pass along tomorrow about him. But he did say today that the hope is that Donaldson will start playing in some games down in Dunedin in a few days, or within a few days. So nothing is imminent right now. There's a curveball in for a strike. Well, he's got a lot of different pitches, and Gibby was asked, would you use Lourdes Gurriel at third base? He says he doesn't think so. So really, Solarte's the everyday third baseman unless they wind up in some kind of a situation where Russell Martin's out there again for whatever reason.
Yeah, as they did on that last homestand when Mahle pinched hit.
0-2.
But with Donaldson, the situation is he's basically going through spring training. So you have to allow him enough time not only to get his arm right, but to get his bat going. Give him enough at-bats where he can get his timing, because when you get Donaldson back, you want him to play third base. You can't afford to have him DH again like he did earlier.
There's Gurriel, not in the lineup tonight, but he has opened up some eyes, impressed some people in his brief time with the club. Solarte hitting .250, 5 homers. He's drawn 14 walks this year already. And not this time, though. Porcello strikes out 3 in the bottom of the first. Around a walk to Hernandez, and we are scoreless at the end of 1.
Since he was a member of the Blue Jays, he got Sunday off at that position. And since joining Toronto, the coaching staff has been really happy with his bat speed and his overall approach at the plate. However, defensively, he is still a work in progress, and he continues to work diligently with infield coach Luis Rivera. Now, Rivera said he's watched video and noticed this about Diaz. He would take multiple steps before firing it across the diamond, giving the runner more time to reach, but also by doing so, it messed with his momentum and it led to some wild throws. With Rivera's help, Diaz has improved his footwork, giving him more power from his legs, and his throws are more accurate. Rivera said Troy Tulowitzki made plays deep in the hole look so routine and so effortlessly. Rivera still continues to work with Diaz in that department, Dan, but says Diaz's D already paying off with all the hard work pregame.
All right, Hazel, thank you. And Buck, with the number of ground ball pitchers the Blue Jays have, especially in the starting rotation, you got to have somebody dependable out at short.
Absolutely, and he has played so much better during the regular season than he did during spring training.
There's a diving stop by Travis, back to his feet and on to first in time to get J.D. Martinez.
Terrific play by Travis. That ball was headed to center field, no doubt about it. The ball skipped and he gloved it. The ball was actually behind him, and then he had time to pop to his feet and throw out J.D. Martinez. Martinez hits the ball very well to the opposite field, and you can see Travis quickly gets up and fires to first to retire him. A terrific play by Devin to save a hit for Jay Happ.
There's Rafael Devers, and with Devin Travis coming back from all the knee issues, just to see him be able to make that kind of a play, it looked like, Buck, without thinking about it. I mean, he just let his body go and dove for the ball. That's an encouraging sign that he is pretty healthy.
Well, what Luis Rivera has done with Devin, and Hazel talked about it, working with the infielders, Devin has taken a deeper angle on balls like that. Instead of trying to cut them across, straight across, he takes an angle toward the outfield, and that allowed him to make that play.
Devers, the young third baseman for the Red Sox. He's just 21 years of age, but this young guy can hit. He hit .284 with 10 homers in 58 games as a rookie last year for the Red Sox, including very early in his big league career a home run off of Aroldis Chapman lefty on lefty against about as tough a guy as there can be in the game.
Yeah, he is a young player with a lot of confidence, and he plays with a lot of joy. That's the one thing that Boston has noticed about him since he's joined their club last year.
Red Sox right now are without their shortstop, Xander Bogaerts. He is out with an ankle injury, but could be back by the weekend. He's expected to start rehab tonight, actually, and they've been without Dustin Pedroia all season. Pedroia has not been healthy yet. Here's the 3-2. Endeavor slashes it down the left field line. It's pretty well hit, but it's slicing foul deep into the corner. The Pitch Tracker is brought to you by Coors Light, official beer of Major League Baseball. Dan Shulman to Buck Martinez, Hazel May here at Rogers Center to open up this 3-game series between the Boston Red Sox and the Toronto Blue Jays. Pedroia is still recovering from knee surgery. That's why he hasn't played. A full count pitch upcoming to Devers. And a 2-hopper. Diaz in time. 2 down.
Hazel May talked about Luis Rivera working with Diaz, and that's the perfect example of what Luis wants. Watch how he moves into this ball. 1-2 steps and fires across the diamond. That's exactly what you want to see from your infielders as he takes his momentum toward the first base bag. No wasted motion at all for Diaz right there.
So 2 down and the base is empty. Happ's retired the first 5 batters he has faced tonight. And here's Eduardo Nunez at second, filling in for the injured Dustin Pedroia. Nunez hitting .269 with a couple of homers. Versatile guy. Can play other infield spots, can play in the outfield as well. The Red Sox are the 2nd highest scoring team in baseball at this point. The Blue Jays are 3rd. The Yankees are 1st.
You know, it was really interesting, too. The Red Sox got up to a great start, but they won a lot of low-scoring games early in the season. They lost on opening day and then won 1-0, 3-2, and they just weren't scoring any runs.
Long run, Granderson in foul territory to make the catch. And Happ retires the Red Sox in order again here in the top of the 2nd. Of all of that is his sinker.
No question about it. It was his sinker when he made his debut back in 2009 with the Tigers, and he's really gotten back to it. If you look at the sinker's success, 16, he threw 40% sinkers. He got away from it last year and didn't have the same season, so he's throwing it again at 40% of the time. When he came up with the Tigers as a 20-year-old, he made the jump all the way from A ball. It was sinker curveball, very simple approach, and he won 14 games.
Sinker success is a handful to throw out there on live TV. I'm glad you got that one instead of me.
Oh, I'm not going to try it again.
1-1 on Steve Pearce. He's DHing tonight. And as we mentioned, he's in the lineup because he's had some success against Rick Porcello. 4 for 9 with a couple of doubles. So no Kendrys Morales in the lineup. And until Donaldson gets back, whenever that may be, John Gibbons, especially by American League standards, he's got some pieces, some moving parts, and you're likely to see a number of different lineups. Gurriel will be in sometimes, out sometimes. Travis, as we know, 2 out of 3. And then with Pearce, Granderson, yes, they are in effect platooning, but tonight they're both in the lineup because the head-to-head matchup calls for it.
There is no question the Blue Jays need Josh Donaldson back at third. I mean, he's a terrific player when he's in the lineup, and he can win games single-handedly. But the mix of this team has really been good, and I think the chemistry has been terrific.
Wow, so Rick Porcello came into this game having walked 1 in his first 4 starts, and he's already walked 2 here tonight.
You know, the Blue Jays have done a good job of being patient, selective, taking a lot of pitches. Curtis Granderson kind of sets the tone for this lineup when he's in the leadoff spot. And Brooks Jacoby, the hitting coach, has incorporated that mindset. Hey, be patient, be ready to hit, but if you don't get anything good to hit, pass the baton.
Here's Russell Martin looking to get the bat going. He's hitting 130 so far on the season with a couple of homers. He's taken some walks. They're looking to do a little bit more damage with the bat. Runner is going, and it's swung on and bounced to the right side. And with a hit and run on, it'll go through. Not hit hard, but in the right place with the runner going. And how about that aggressiveness? Starting Steve Pearce, and it winds up first and third.
Again, because you don't have a lineup that's laden with superstar sluggers, you have to be creative. And Pearce doesn't run really well. Russell's been struggling with the bat, but there's a big hole on the right side of the infield. You start the runner, you'll see the second baseman, Nunez, covering the bag. And Pearce goes first to third. The Blue Jays have to play this type of baseball. And it gets Martin a base hit as he bounces it through the right side, and Pearce goes first to third.
So what a great opportunity here in the early going against Porcello. First and third with nobody out for Kevin Pillar, who's hitting .304 on the season. And Pillar swinging a chopper toward third. Coming home is Devers, and it's a wide throw, and the run will score.
The Red Sox have been terrific on defense this year as a team. They've committed just 5 errors coming into this game. That was a wide throw. It'd probably go as an error on Devers. He had a shot at the force out at home. Pearce does a good job of breaking on contact. He's coming home. Devers has a chance to throw him out, but makes a bad throw. Again, the aggressiveness of the Blue Jays. You can't slug toe-to-toe when you don't have your big horses.
And the way it's been scored is just fielder's choice RBI. No error on the play as Diaz shows bunt. How about this?
Yeah, he chooses to go home, but a good throw gets him. But they give the benefit of the doubt to Devers, and he does not get charged with his 5th error.
So first and second, nobody out. A run in already on a walk and really 2 weakly hit ground balls. And here's Diaz, and he hits a double play ball to short. Red Sox get 1, and that's it, with the momentum of Nunez taking him away from first, and Pillar coming in hard on him at second.
Yeah, Nunez was playing a long way from the bag at second base, and he had a long run, and he was late getting there because he had to catch the ball on the run. He didn't have a chance. Look where he's set up. He is set up way over there, and then he takes a step toward first as if he thinks they were bunting. But no bunt in line, and they can't turn 2.
And you just said it. He was over there because Diaz showed bunt on the first pitch. So we've seen a hit and run this inning and a bunt attempt that wound up helping the Blue Jays on the next pitch. And now they've got runners on the corners again with just 1 out for Devin Travis. And this is where first and third, 1 out against a team as good as the Red Sox. Just critical to get this runner from third in, seeing as how you've only got 1 out. Can Travis get a ball in the air to the outfield deep enough to bring home Martin? Another chopper to third. Devers coming home again, and this time they get Martin at the plate.
So the Blue Jays haven't really pounded the baseball this inning, but they've been able to manufacture a run. Travis can't get the ball in the air, and Devers makes a much better throw this time, and Leon steps in front and makes the tag on Russell.
So first and second with 2 down, back to the top of the order for Granderson. That one will get away from Leon, and the runners are going to advance on the wild pitch. This has been a very, very strange half inning, hasn't it?
Well, it sure has, especially because Porcello has been so good with his command coming into this game. He's already walked twice as many as he's walked all season long, and he's really lost the strike zone. This is a curveball that Leon is late getting after. It's a curveball down and in. He tries to backhand it, but he never shifted to his right.
The strike to even it up at 1-1. It is scored a wild pitch on Porcello. So 2 in scoring position with 2 down now for the Jays. And the batter was Granderson with a shift on for the Red Sox. Devers staying somewhat close to third because of the presence of the runner there, Diaz. Changeup, 1-2.
Yeah, Granderson got 2 changeups from Porcello in his first at bat and a 3-2 changeup that he struck out on.
Porcello having to work hard considering he keeps getting weakly hit ground balls, but because of Devers' wide throw and a wild pitch and that hit and run base hit where Martin found a hole, this is a little bit more of a troublesome half inning for the Red Sox than it normally would be. Off Devers, he can't find it, and 2 runs will come in for the Blue Jays.
Porcello is getting everything hit on the ground, but that was a tricky hop. It looked like it really kicked up before it got to Devers. He couldn't field it cleanly. It goes off of him. Diaz and Travis come in to score. Watch the bounce right before it gets to Devers. Pow! It hit the lip of that artificial turf and bounced up. He got a glove on it, but he couldn't field it cleanly. He got a wicked bounce right there, and the Blue Jays cash it in.
So a 2-run single for Granderson. And the Blue Jays now up 3-0. With Granderson at first, 2 down on the batter, Teoscar Hernandez, who worked Porcello for a walk in the bottom of the first.
Well, that wild pitch certainly helped out the Blue Jays, moving those runners to second and third.
Movement in on his hands, and Hernandez couldn't do a whole lot with that.
Yeah, I think Teoscar felt like he was going to get a fastball, and he was a little bit quick in his decision to swing. It was probably off the plate inside. But when you're as hot as he is, I think you want to swing at everything, but he's shown great patience.
And a fastball that Porcello gets by him is 1-2. Checking with Dan Iasonia, the home plate umpire, to see if that would have been called a strike had he not offered at it. Alex Cora, nice long major league career as an infielder, mostly with the Dodgers and a few years with the Red Sox as well. Spent 14 years in the big leagues. And a swing and a miss to get him and end the inning. But the Blue Jays score 3 times and really only hit 1 ball hard. That was the ball hit by Curtis Granderson that ate up Devers. Infield hit, 2 runs in, 3 in the inning, 3-0 Jays.
1. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
With Buck Martinez, Hazel May, I'm Dan Schulman. Top of the third here at Rogers Center with the Blue Jays leading the Red Sox 3-0. Jackie Bradley Jr., the Boston center fielder, will lead it off. Terrific defensive player so far this year, hitting .224 with a couple of homers. He's in his 6th season in the big leagues right now. So he hits a weak chopper towards second. Travis got to hurry and can't get it out of his bare hand cleanly in time to risk a throw, and that'll go as an infield hit for Bradley.
Yeah, you can't guard against those softly hit balls, and you see how far Travis has to run to get it, and then couldn't come up with it cleanly out of his glove. Bradley runs very well. He knew he had to hurry, but when he went into his glove, he didn't get a good grip on the baseball, and wisely chose not to make the throw.
So the Red Sox taking a page out of the Blue Jay playbook here with a little chopper that does some damage. Bradley aboard to lead it off, and here's the catcher, Sandy Leon. That's a well-located fastball right there.
Leon is the personal catcher for Rick Porcello. He's caught all 5 of his starts so far this season. He's a much better hitter than his average would reflect. He's had some good offensive seasons for the Red Sox.
2 years ago, his best year, hitting over 300. They've also got Christian Vasquez, a young catcher with a terrific arm, and Blake Swihart. There's Vasquez there. Blake Swihart, who a couple of years ago was considered to be the catcher of the future, but now he's morphed into a catcher, third, first, left, DH, just kind of jack of all trades in order to stay in the big leagues.
Yeah, Vasquez became the everyday catcher, and Swihart, he injured his ankle playing against the Blue Jays a couple of years ago when he was playing in left field, and that really slowed down his development. But the thoughts of having a switch hitting catcher were very attractive for Boston when they first signed him.
1-1. Happ, a guy who will pitch up with his fastball often and with success. A lot of pitchers, you say that's a mistake if you left the ball up. He wants to pitch up with that fastball.
Yeah, it's a little bit like Estrada. You know, they don't really line up the radar gun, but they have deception and they have enough skip on their high fastball to get swings and misses.
And he got him. Change up away for his 2nd strikeout of the night.
He put fastball in the hitter's mind, and they think, okay, he's going to come upstairs and go after another strikeout. But this time, that ball runs down and away to Leon, and Happ picks up 2nd strikeout of the game. Martin set up outside, and you can see how far off the plate that was, but Happ really sold it.
Here's Brock Holt, number 9 hitter, shortstop tonight. And a fastball there for a strike. Holt, as Buck mentioned, has played virtually all over the field. And the Red Sox, at least under John Farrell in the previous few years, they felt he was best suited. I'm sure Alex Cora feels the same way. Best suited to spot in here, spot in there, not necessarily to play 7 days a week. But they need him right now because of injuries. Didn't like that call at all, and it's 0-2.
And that's what Happ does. He comes right at you. He's got a lot of confidence in his fastball. Since he has been here, this is his 2nd stint, Jay has really increased his tempo. He works a lot quicker. Had a great conversation with David Cohn in New York over the weekend, and he was talking about everything a pitcher does on the mound is a presentation to the hitter. Whether you grab the ball quickly, toe the rubber, all of your body language can really speak that you have confidence or reflect the fact that you have a lot of doubts.
Again, the 0-2. And a swing and a miss to get Holt 2 down.
First time through the order, 3 strikeouts for Jay Happ, and he got Leon on the changeup outside. But watch this fastball. It's just a 4-seam fastball. Holt is late on it. Watch where the ball passes Holt. It's past him when he gets the bat through the hitting zone. So although it's not 97-98, it's a very effective fastball.
Top of the order, Mookie Betts. Happ retired to Betts on 1 pitch. in the top of the first to pop up in foul territory that Justin Smoak came over to make a play on. Betts 2 years ago was the American League runner-up for the most valuable player behind Mike Trout. Numbers took a bit of a step back last year, but still a great year by just about anybody else's standards. I think everybody would agree that Mike Trout's the best player in the game, but you start counting, this guy's name comes up pretty soon.
Yeah, he's in the top 3 or 4 for sure. He's got power, he hits for average, he's got speed. He can beat you in so many ways. Oh, and oh, by the way, he's a 2-time Gold Glover.
A converted infielder who became an outfielder and became a Gold Glover.
He didn't make that transition until 2014, and he plays in the toughest right field in baseball.
He's always had the reputation of being a very hard worker, very inquisitive, always trying to learn things and get better in whatever way he can. And he loves bowling as much as he loves baseball. When you talk to him, he says he's as good at bowling as he is at baseball. He told me before the game, he goes, I don't know what a bat is in the offseason. As soon as baseball is over, he doesn't bowl during the season, but as soon as baseball is over, he's a bowler.
Yeah, he's bowled in a couple of professional tournaments, and in one of those tournaments in the qualifying, his final game was a perfect game, 300.
2-2 the count. Check the swing. And the count runs full on Betts.
Betts is one of the best inside fastball hitters in the game because he can hit that inside fastball right on the corner and keep it fair. That's why they're working him away.
Bradley will be on the move on the pitch. There he goes, and the 3-2 inside corner, strike 3 called, and Betts knew it. What a great job by Jay Happ, striking out 3 in a row after the infield hit by Bradley led it off.
Who took in last night's Game 6 between the Bruins and the Leafs at the Air Canada Centre. Ramirez sported a Bruins jersey for his very first hockey game, and even though the Leafs forced a Game 7, he said he loved the entire experience. Quote, the passion, everyone's really into it, every shot, every glove from whatever you call him, the goalie. It was fun. And one of the most entertaining parts, Ramirez said, was when teammate Christian Vasquez kept offering him some fine food offered in the luxury suite. Plenty of ice cream, chicken wings, quesadillas. It was all good food, but not for him. You see, Ramirez is on the Tom Brady TB12 diet, Dan, and he said, quote, look, I'm going to steal 30 bags this season, so no ice cream for me.
Well, everybody knows there are exceptions to every rule, but Hanley Ramirez sticking to it last night as the Maple Leafs forced a Game 7 tomorrow night against the Boston Bruins. Blue Jays playing tomorrow night. Maple Leafs playing tomorrow night. Raptors playing tomorrow night. FC playing tomorrow night. Justin Smoak grounds out for out number 1.
Marcelo threw a couple curveballs to Smoak in that at bat. It's interesting to see if he has deviated from his plan. He struck out the side in the first and then ran into trouble with a leadoff walk in the second to Steve Pearce.
One down. Here's Yangervis Solarte, who struck out his first time up. This is Solarte's strong side. as he looks at a pitch just above the knees for a called strike. It's funny, it's the kind of thing when you hear about the trade in the offseason and you wonder, well, this guy usually gets about 500 at-bats a year. Where is he going to find playing time in Toronto? Now with Donaldson on the DL, and even once Donaldson comes back, Solarte is going to play. Travis gets a 1 out of 3 off. He'll find some time at second base. He's going to find his way to a lot of at-bats this year for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, he's cooled off a little bit after his hot start. He is now 0 for his last 10. But boy, he brings a lot of energy, something that John Gibbons really likes about his play.
Porcello gets him again.
Hit a home run with any project this season. Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Dan Shulman to Buck Martinez, Hazel May, Red Sox and Blue Jays. And the Blue Jays up 3-0 in the bottom of the third. The big hit, a 2-run single from Curtis Granderson. Steve Pearce got it started with a walk in the bottom of the second. And the Blue Jays just kept making enough contact and hitting the ball in the right place to take advantage of things. Kept getting runners up a base over to third, and then Granderson cashed in a couple after that wild pitch that by Porcello that really was another big play. I tell you, hitters staying in the box, pitchers staying on the rubber, working quickly. Helmets flying.
Well, like we said, Porcello, he's 4-0. This is his 5th start. He's got a lot of confidence, so he wants the ball back, and he gets right back on the rubber. Here's took a wild swing and lost his helmet. He tried to rush that changeup and really telegraphed it for sure. Pierce had a good look at it early on. Anytime a pitcher tries to rush a pitch, it's a signal to the hitter that something's different.
Rush with his body, you mean? You can see it before the release?
Yeah, he cut down his entire delivery and he rushed his body forward, and his arm wasn't back as it is with the fastball. Didn't sell it very well.
3-2 and a swing and a miss and a high fastball. That's 6 strikeouts already for Porcello, but it's the Blue Jays with a 3-0 lead.
Guests from one of TD's community partners. And this is it, everybody. Game 7. Can the Leafs exercise the past, forge ahead, and push it to round 2? Leafs and Bruins Game 7 tomorrow on CBC and Sportsnet. And Hanley Ramirez said they will definitely have the game on in the Red Sox clubhouse. His prediction, no surprise, Bruins to advance to the second round.
Well, of course, he's been to one game, now he's an expert. I'll tell you, Freddie Anderson has been something else. He has made some unbelievable saves in this series. There's a guy who knows a little bit about hockey. And Russell Martin, obviously baseball #1 for him, but you can't escape it growing up, being born in East York and then growing up in Montreal. There's Andrew Benintendi, who struck out his first time up. In the first 3 innings, Jay Happ's given up just 1 hit, and it was an infield hit. To Jackie Bradley Jr. Hasn't walked anybody. He's struck out 4. And has pitched well against the Red Sox in recent years. An ERA under 2 against them last year in 4 starts.
The Red Sox have won their last 7 games here at Rogers Center. They have really had the Blue Jays number. Alex Cora to his left, Ron Renicky, his bench coach. Renicky was Cora's Double-A manager in the Dodgers system, and Ron was formerly the manager of the Brewers. He's also been a longtime coach for the Angels, worked with Mike Scioscia for years.
And John Gibbons told us before the game, a longtime buddy of his as well.
Yeah, Cora had free reign as far as putting the coaching staff together, and Renicky was one of the first guys that he thought about because he knew he needed a lieutenant as the bench coach. And look at Renicky. Well, he's studying something, and he's got his eyes zeroed in on somebody.
And a swing and a miss, and Benintendi upset with himself that he went after that ball up and in.
It looks so inviting because you can see it. It's up around your eyes, but you really have to be disciplined to know that this is up. It's out of the strike zone, and I can't catch up to it. But because you see it so well, you think you can hit it. But Jay Happ has made a living upstairs with that fastball.
He's now struck out the last 4 batters, and here's Hanley Ramirez, who grounded out back in the first. So Hanley says he's going to steal 30. He's at 3 right now. And this is a guy, he's in the back half of his career. He's in his 30s. He's a much bigger man than he used to be, although as Hazel told us, he's on a diet now to try to lose some weight and steal some more bases. Back when he was young, he could fly. Came up with the Marlins. And 1 year, 2 years in fact, his first 2 full years in the big leagues, he stole 51 bases. But he has not had more than 6 since 2014.
Yeah, he got really big and got more concerned about power than anything else.
He got jammed.
Who's
going to get it?
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't think Hernandez ever saw it, and they looked at each other. Diaz looked out to Hernandez, and Hernandez wasn't close. I don't think he picked it up off the bat at all. He was just kind of wandering out there in left field. Diaz saw it, and then when he looked to see if Hernandez was going to make a play, watch him look at the left fielder, and Hernandez isn't going to make the play, and Diaz has to try to make a play. But that ball is going away from him. A very difficult catch to make, especially when you're standing still like he was.
We will wait for the scoring, but however it's scored, it's a play that's got to be made. You just hate to give a team as potent as the Red Sox that kind of a gift. Here's Jay, especially with this guy coming up, J.D. Martinez.
A late sign by the Red Sox, and it's the only personnel change the Red Sox have on their 25-man roster.
Which in this day and age is unheard of. What a year he had last year, finishing it off with Arizona. He hit 29 home runs in 62 games for the Arizona Diamondbacks last year.
Here's a guy that Houston released in spring training, and he's starting to get comfortable in this Red Sox lineup.
The play, by the way, has been scored an error on Diaz. A tough one for him because he assumed, or probably rightly so, that Hernandez was going to come get the ball. Now, you mentioned how few changes there were for the Red Sox organization. They knew they needed a power bat, though. Dave Dombrowski, the president of the Boston Red Sox, who is here in Toronto, he travels every road trip with the Red Sox. And of course, you go back a ways, and he was the architect of the Expos way back when, among a number of other teams, Marlins, Tigers as well. Check swing, 2-2. But they knew they never really found that guy to replace what David Ortiz gave them through his whole career. Last year, they were last in the American League in home runs last year. So Dave Dombrowski knew he had to go out and get somebody. And it took a while. It always seemed like it was a natural fit between the Red Sox and Martinez. But given the climate with free agents this winter, it took a while to get him signed. Martinez strikes out, 2 down.
This is a very good hitting ball club. They were no hit on Saturday. And you talk about an unlikely no-hitter. They came in smoking hot against Sean Manaea on Saturday. He threw a no-hitter against them, but they ranked first in average, second in runs per game, second in OPS, and they got the best run differential in the majors.
Devers with a ground ball to short. Diaz up with it and across the diamond, and that's all. The air does not hurt Happ. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Blue Jays coming up, leading 3-0.
An opportunity to go all in with Russell Martin and the Blue Jays right here on the field at Rogers Center. Tickets to the 55 Poker Classic in support of Jays Care are on sale now. Visit jayscare.com/poker to sign up and secure your spot today. Dan.
Hazel, thank you. Had a chance to be at that event a couple of years ago. Well worth your time if you like poker and want to help out the Jays Care Foundation. Martin credited with a base hit his first time up. The hit and run was on. Steve Pearce was on the move, and Martin hit a ground ball to the right side that found a hole. No balls, 2 strikes. Porcello with 6 strikeouts through the first 3 innings. He's only given up 1 hit. No, 2 hits it should be. Unless, no, he's given up 2 hits. Excuse me. The one to Martin and the one to Granderson. He really deserves a better fate than being down 3-0.
He created a problem for himself in the second when he walked the leadoff man Pearce, and then they played hit and run and a couple of fielders' choices. They got a couple of runs, and then Granderson with a 2-run single off the glove of the third baseman.
Strike 3 called. Brought that slider back over the inside corner. That's number 7 for Porcello.
Kept everything inside to Russell in this at bat. Threw some sinkers in there and then uses this cutter off the plate inside, and then it breaks to catch the inside corner. I'm not sure that Russell was thrilled about any of these called strikes.
Here's Kevin Pillar. The Red Sox rotation coming into the game today with a 2.43 collective ERA. And second best in the majors. Only Houston has a better rotation ERA at this point of the season than the Red Sox do. And another guy they're counting on heavily, of course, is former Blue Jay David Price, who has made 5 starts this year. Pitched very well a couple of days ago on Sunday in Oakland, although we gave up a 3-run homer in the 8th inning. Remember, he had that one start against the Yankees a couple of weeks ago where he left with a sensation in his finger, only pitched 1 inning. But by and large, I think the Red Sox have been pretty happy. The first 2 starts of the season were really good for David Price.
Hitters are hitting just .218 against Price, and he's only allowed 2 home runs to this point. That's one thing the Red Sox starters have done. They've kept the ball in the ballpark. And we mentioned Porcello has not given up a home run this season. They've been getting terrific pitching when you think about the fact they've allowed 3 runs or fewer in 17 of their games. Again, you see how he sped up his delivery on that changeup. He got in a rush to throw the changeup, and he bounced it in the dirt. It wasn't as fluid as he was with that changeup in the first inning.
Two-two. Hit hard, but well foul.
You look at the starting pitcher's numbers, and there's the ERA Dan was talking about. Astros 2.21, Cleveland 2.57, and then the Red Sox 3rd overall pitching. That includes the bullpen as well. So, and their bullpen really hasn't been up to standards when you consider how infrequently Craig Kimbrell has pitched early in this season. Kimbrell's only pitched once since April 15th.
And a swing and a miss, and Pilar strikes out. Number 8 for Porcello.
This 4K broadcast is brought to you by the Samsung QLED TV. See nothing else.
Bottom 4, 3-0 Blue Jays. Aledmus Diaz reached on a fielder's choice and scored back in the 3-run Blue Jays second. Eduardo Rodriguez and Aaron Sanchez tomorrow night. They'll wrap it up Thursday night. Chris Sale and Marco Estrada. So you don't want to concede anything to anybody, but when you're looking at Chris Sale pitching in that 3rd game, he's off to a great start. 1.86 ERA so far this year. Blue Jays would love to get the first one of this series, especially already being up 3-0.
And back to the curveball. That's 3 curveballs he's thrown Diaz in this at bat. And Porcello shook to get to that curveball. 9-9 for his career in 21 games. This is his 21st start against the Blue Jays.
The 2-2. And Porcello strikes out the side. He's got 9 through 4, but it's the Blue Jays with a 3-0 lead. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. There are Jamie Campbell and Joe Siddall in the Samsung broadcast studio. 16, Jay Happ's got one of the best winning percentages in the American League over the last 2+ seasons, and he's in some pretty good company.
Well, he sure is. Anytime you're in a class with Kluber, Carrasco, and Justin Verlander, you know you're among the elite in the American League, and Jay Happ has been terrific. He got 20-4 season with a .318 earned average. That was in 2016, and he finished 6th in the Cy Young voting that year.
3-0 Blue Jays as we go to the top of the 5th. There have been 24 outs recorded in this game. 15 of them have been strikeouts. The ball hit well to deep right center field, but Pilar is there to run it down.
Jay got a terrific defensive play from Devin Travis in the second when Travis dove to his left, took a hit away from J.D. Martinez. Because he throws so many strikes, the defense is always on their toes, anticipating a ball being put into play. It really serves a pitcher well. Throw a lot of strikes, and you're going to get good D behind you.
By the way, we've had a scoring change from an earlier play in the game as Jackie Bradley Jr. steps in. The ball that Diaz could not make the play on, the over-the-shoulder play, originally scored an error on Aledmus Diaz, has now been changed to a base hit. It's one of those tricky ones where really it's an example where if you have the team error, which is something that's been discussed off and on, never seriously probably for many years, you know, it's somebody's fault. You don't want Happ to be saddled with a hit, maybe an earned run, although they didn't score. But no such thing as a team error in baseball. But the error to Diaz now changed to a base hit for Hanley Ramirez.
Well, and that was a situation. San Diego was playing in Houston. There was a pop-up. The first baseman, Eric Hosmer, came in and overran the ball, and it was a walk-off base hit.
Right.
And it very easily should have been the 3rd out of the inning.
High fastball taken by Bradley, 2-2. Very efficient performance thus far for Jay Happ at 56 pitches with 1 out here in the 5th. Number 57's hit a long way to left center field. Pilar on the run again.
When you're defending against a left-handed hitter like Jackie Bradley Jr. facing a left-handed pitcher, you kind of shade him toward left center. Pilar was thinking that way, so he gets a good jump on it and really makes an easy play of it. He kind of had to slow up to make the catch right on the edge of the warning track in deep left center.
So 2 down on long fly balls, and here's Sandy Leon to take a strike over the outside corner with the knees.
Russell Martin's done a terrific job of receiving that low strike for Happ. I hate the phrase framing. I think it's one of the most overused phrases in baseball, but you receive the ball, and he receives it very quietly with minimal movement. We go back to the Jackie Bradley at bat. This is the first pitch of the at bat to Bradley. Watch how Russell receives this ball. Just receives it, gives the umpire Dan Iasonia a real good look at it, and Happ gets the benefit of Russell's good hands.
One, 2. Strike 3 called right at the top end of the zone. Number 7 for Happ as he takes care of the Red Sox in order here in the top of the 5th.
including tonight's Rays-Orioles game. Scheduling is not an exact science, but the commissioner said they do try to make an effort to have cold weather teams begin the year in warm weather. However, there will always be issues. One, no team ever wants to start their season on the road for 2 weeks, especially, said Manfred. And even warmer climate teams, April dates are also difficult. Until kids are out of school, said the commissioner, it's a different market for all MLB clubs, warm and cold. He acknowledged this year has been particularly tough, Dan, but wanted to assure fans that they do try to have cold weather teams start in domes or warmer cities. I don't think I envy those MLB schedule makers, Dan.
No, and he's right. There's only so much you can do. You can't have a team start on the road for 2 weeks. It's just not going to happen. It's not in the basic agreement between the owners and the players, so you couldn't even do it if you wanted to do it. This was just one of those crazy Aprils. Now, yes, the season is starting earlier than it used to. March 29th is not like starting on April 7th or something like that. As Travis hits ground ball down to third, but you know, you can't control the weather, obviously. I thought Rob Manfred, the commissioner, as soon as he sat down in the interview room here at Rogers Center, before he took any questions, his only opening remark was to extend condolences and thoughts and prayers to the families of the victims and the injured here in Toronto. And you know, he talked about how much baseball is supporting Toronto, and he understands, obviously, quite well how much pain the city is in, because sadly this has happened in a number of cities in recent years, and there's evidence of people thinking about those who were affected by yesterday's horrific attack all over the ballpark here tonight. You see Kevin Pillar with his eye black saying, instead of Blue Jays, he's got hashtag Toronto Strong. Granderson rips one that gets right through the shift all the way to the right field fence, and he's at second base.
Boy, Nunez was out in shallow right, and that was a rocket. Hit in front of him. He tried to lay it, and it skipped past him all the way to the wall. It's past Mookie Betts. I mean, they had the defense set up, but you could see he played it off to the side and couldn't come up with it. And by the time Mookie Betts gets to it, gets it back to the infield, Granderson has his third double of the season.
He's really got the only two hard hit balls by the Blue Jays tonight. 2-run single in the second, a 1-out double here in the fifth. And here's Teoscar Hernandez, who has walked and struck out. The commissioner touched on a number of topics. He was asked about the Rogers Center and how he feels about the ballpark, and whether he feels where it kind of ranks among major league facilities and what it needs. As Hernandez slices the ball to right center, and a diving catch by Betts to save a run.
Mookie Betts can do it all. Two-time Gold Glover, and that time he knew it was a ball he's going to have to lay out on, and he saved a run for sure for Porcello. Bob Goodwin is the outfield coach and the first base coach, and he acknowledged the great play by Betts. This ball looks like it's headed to the wall, but Betts dives, took some good angle, and didn't get much on the throw in his haste to get it back to the infield. But what an effort by Mookie Betts. He's as good as there is in right field, and Porcello certainly appreciates the effort.
A great play. Runner at second, 2 down now, and the batter is Justin Smoak, with the Jays leading 3-0, bottom of the fifth rather. Now hitting the Red Sox 3-2.
This ball lined into the alley, and as soon as he caught it, he peeks and looks at where the runner is. He was halfway between second and third, so Anderson had to hold at second base.
Just to finish up on Rob Manfred's comments about the Rogers Center, he talked about how it was state of the art back in 1989 when it was open, but a lot has changed since then. And he did say that in certain aspects, he used the word outdated. He talked about premium revenue seats and so forth, and I think baseball, as much as the Blue Jays would like to see some changes here to this ballpark, if that's possible in the coming years. Of course, he was asked about Montreal and the chance of the Expos coming back. He said he hasn't had a chance to meet the new mayor, but he looks forward to talking to officials at Montreal. But again, from baseball's perspective, there's got to be financing firmly in place before baseball would ever commit to baseball going back to Montreal.
Yeah. You got to have a plan. You got to have a stadium. You got to have money to line things up. The thing about the Rogers Center, and at the time it opened, Skydome was state of the art, but had it been 3, maybe 4 years later, they would have had that new stadium design with the retractable roofs that included grass and the fact that you could do a lot of different things. But when it opened, it was the best they had to offer.
But if you're looking for the glass to be half full, had it opened 3, 4 years later, they might not have had a couple of World Series championships here, right? Because they, at that point, the ballpark helped attract free agents and helped attract players.
No question about it.
You're right. As soon as Camden Yards was built, everybody's view of ballparks changed overnight.
Safeco Field followed suit. San Francisco, beautiful brick ballparks, some with retractable roofs.
Coors Field came in after that. Minute Maid. Solarte hoping for a chance. Granderson out at second, 2 down, and a full count on Smoak. It just looked like he picked up that changeup nice and early from Porcello. Took that low changeup for ball 3. And draws a walk.
That's the 15th walk that Smoak has taken this season, and he's, by his own admission, really not swinging the bat well after starting red hot against the Yankees in that 4-game series. So now he's getting his share of walks, but you're right, he had a good at bat there because he laid off a couple of borderline pitches.
So a chance to drive in a run or 2, maybe 3 for Yangervis Solarte, but he has not had a couple of good at bats so far against Porcello. He struck out both times. Liner, and Holt is there to make the catch, and that is all as the Blue Jays will leave a couple of men on. We are through 5, and it's still 3-0 Blue Jays. Not more than that because of this tremendous catch by Mookie Betts. Top 6 and a 3-0 lead for the Blue Jays over the Red Sox in the opening game of this 3-game series. Number 9 hitter Brock Holt will lead it off against Jay Happ. Holt struck out his first time up. Happ's got 7 through the first 5 innings. Has given up just 2 hits. One of them a little infield chopper that Devin Travis came in to get, but just couldn't get the ball out of his glove in time to make an off-balance throw. And then one on a pop-up where maybe Teoscar Hernandez just didn't pick up the ball. So Aledmys Diaz tried to go out and make an over-the-shoulder catch. It glanced off the tip of his glove. Originally scored an error, then changed to a base hit. There's a base hit down the left field line, and Hernandez lets the ball play him just a little bit. Probably wouldn't have mattered in the end as Holt's at second base.
The 2018 Civic. When it leads off, it leads for good. Honda, proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Brock Holt slicing the ball down the left field line for a leadoff double. The Red Sox down 3-0, trying to put something together here against Jay Happ. Top of the order, Mookie Betts.
Betts was a one-man wrecking crew last year against the Blue Jays. He reached base in all 17 games he played. He hit .365 for the season and scored 16 runs. Blue Jays are also happy that Bogarts is not on the active roster right now because he did the same type of damage against the Jays.
It's called inside, and Happ's fallen behind 2-0. Doesn't feel like we've said that much tonight. A 2-0 count on a Red Sox hitter. Happ's command has been terrific. 68 pitches, 44 of them strikes. Foul it off, 2-1.
That's a good example of how that high fastball is so difficult for good hitters like Betts to catch up to. He had the count in his favor. He expected Happ to throw him the fastball, and he was still late on it. Hitters will talk about pitchers that pitch up in the zone and describe it as it's got a little hop right before you get after it. Tough to square it up.
Swings through that high fastball, 2-2.
Happ struck out Betts back in the third inning on a called strike on an inside fastball.
A fly ball to shallow center field. And Pilar racing in to make the catch, one down. Another great example, Buck, of a fastball up enough and in enough. Betts really couldn't do much with it.
Yeah, and Jay has very good command of that fastball, and he was able to jam Mookie Betts. Betts was ahead in the count 2-0. Happ just kept pounding that fastball upstairs, and Mookie could never catch up to it. See him say swinging at balls. No one can hit when you swing at balls.
Here's Benintendi, and twice he has struck out on a pitch out of the zone. Both third strikes were up and in, and he went after them. And he's got to be muttering to himself. He's now 0 for 12 in his career against Jay Happ. Actually, after the second strikeout, he turned around, and the way he held the bat, for a brief moment, it looked like he thought about breaking it over his leg. He was so frustrated. Then he made a good choice and decided not to do that. You leave that to the Bo Jacksons of the world back in the day.
Chris Davis this year.
That's right.
Carlos Gomez in his last game, he had a walk-off home run. In the previous at bat, he struck out and broke the bat over his knee. Leave it to the big boys.
Did you ever consider doing it? Did you ever even think about it?
No. I'd have been embarrassed. I'd hurt myself.
Up and away. Notice he have him set up now for another up and in fastball. He's used on him a couple of times tonight.
But they'll probably throw him a breaking ball here, not wanting to fall into that pattern.
They do, but it's bounced in.
Benintendi's a terrific hitter, and you can go to the well once too often. So he threw him a curveball just to put that pitch in his mind. Still looking for his first hit against Happ.
Holt with a leadoff double, then Betts flied out. And Happ dealing with Benintendi with one out here in the inning. Got him again. Strikes him out for the third time tonight.
The Super Slow-Mo is brought to you by the Samsung S9 and S9 Plus, the camera reimagined, available now. Well, Russ Martin did a terrific job because on the previous pitch to that strikeout breaking ball, he called the breaking ball. So Benintendi a little bit reluctant to really get after the fastball, thinking, well, he's probably going to throw me a fastball, but he comes back with a second curveball to get the strikeout.
Here's Hanley Ramirez. He is grounded out, and he was the guy who got credited with a hit on the ball that glanced off the glove of Diaz. Here's a liner to center field. It's down for a base hit in front of Pilar, and rounding third, coming in to score, is Holt on the RBI single that has the Red Sox on the board.
Well, Hanley has 2 hits, and he didn't hit either one of them on the barrel. That one dropped in front of Pilar for an RBI single, his 16th ribby of the season, and you can see it down around the label. But he is so strong, he gets enough of it to flare it into center field. Pilar coming in, tries to time his jump, but then he recognizes he has no chance to make a throw on Holt. It's tough to get around a leadoff double. It'll keep him from scoring.
And all of a sudden, the tying run's going to come to the plate, and it's a guy loaded with power, and J.D. Martinez. The tone of this game has changed here in the last few moments, and in addition, John Gibbons will get the bullpen going. Danny Barnes is up. How good has he been this year?
Been terrific, especially with inherited base runners. Gibbons has a lot of confidence that he can bring Danny in with runners on. Grabbed by Russell. He was set up inside. That ball was all the way across the plate in the other batter's box, and he's so athletic he was able to flag it down.
Dangerous count to a dangerous hitter.
J.D. Martinez is dangerous because of the approach he takes, and he's always thinking about the power alley in right center. He's got tremendous power to the other field, and even that ground out he hit in the second inning was sharply hit to Travis's left from where he's standing right now.
Oh, good movement on that pitch. 2-2.
So you pitch to Martinez's weakness there. He likes the ball out over the plate, so Happ threw him that slider cutter down and in, and he was trying to carve it into right field, and he was overmatched.
Runner goes, and a swing and a miss to get Martinez. That is all for the Red Sox. Top 6, they get a run, leave a runner. 3-1 Blue Jays.
Six-game hitting streak. Pick up to 2 players every day who you think will get a hit. Get a hit, your streak continues. Get no hits, start a new streak. Be the first to reach 57 games and win $5.6 million. Play for free. Download the app today and beat the streak. Dan.
All right, Hazel, thank you. We go bottom six. A 3-1 lead for the Blue Jays. Steve Pearce will lead it off against Rick Porcello. Pearce has walked and scored and also struck out tonight. Danny Barnes sat down after J. Happ got out of the top of the sixth. Nobody throwing right now for the Red Sox in their bullpen. Porcello about to throw his 84th pitch of the game. These are two guys. Now, Happ's older than Porcello, but Porcello's still a veteran pitcher. These are two guys out there with a game plan and doing a pretty good job of executing.
Porcello's 29 years old, Happ's 35, and they both have extensive experience. And Porcello, we mentioned he won the Cy Young Award in 2016.
High fly ball, left center field. And this one is going to be caught on the track by Bradley. He kind of looked up as if he thought maybe it was going to go, and then settled underneath it casually, made the catch.
One of the best center fielders in baseball in my mind, Jackie Bradley Jr. And you can see Pearce is upset. He just missed that ball. Didn't really square it up on the barrel. But Jackie Bradley Jr., a terrific center fielder. He has a knack for reading a ball off the bat. He went right to the spot. Caught it easily.
Now Russell Martin, who's had a base hit and struck out. He has thrown the changeup often tonight when he's been behind in the count.
Yeah, it gets him back in the count. You're right, because hitters are thinking, okay, he's behind. He's got to throw me a fastball. But Porcello's done a terrific job of using that changeup.
And I think if you're a hitter who's faced Porcello a lot, the changeup isn't foremost on your mind. You're thinking about the sinker. You know he's got a curveball. You know he'll rise that four-seamer up top. Oh, Martin got under a pitch. And Leon's got room in foul territory, 2 down.
Hit a home run with any project this season. Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
And we welcome you back to Rogers Center. It's a 3-1 lead for the Blue Jays, bottom of the sixth. The night that began a very somber fashion with a ceremony before the game, both in honor and memory of the victims and in thinking about the injured and hoping for a recovery for them. And also a number of first responders were here today on the field before the national anthems were sung. And all of the Red Sox and all of the Blue Jays were up on the field for that ceremony before the game, lending their support. Pilar will ground out, and that's all for the Blue Jays as they go in order. We're through 6, and it remains the Blue Jays 3 and the Red Sox 1. and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. As we talked about before the break, evidence all over the ballpark tonight of everyone just, their hearts breaking for what happened yesterday, and everyone trying to rally together as best they can, start the healing process as best they can. We saw it at the ACC last night. We see it at Rogers Center here tonight. Evidence all over the city. And the Red Sox can relate. I mean, unfortunately, everybody can relate to a certain extent, but the Red Sox and their organization can relate maybe better than most because of the bombing in Boston a few years back. Not that long ago, and that shook Boston to the core, just as yesterday's events have done here to Torontonians. Rafael Devers leading off the seventh. 3-1 Blue Jays. Jay Happ, Rick Porcello, both pitching well. Happ's at 85 pitches right now. High fly ball left center. Who wants it? It'll be Teoscar Hernandez for the first out. With the bullpen busy again. Danny Barnes was up briefly before Happ got out of the top of the sixth. He's back up in the seventh.
Yeah, you play the scoreboard in this situation. It's a two-run game. The Jays lead it, and Happ is working through the lineup for third time, and that's the big catchphrase. You look at the lineup and, well, they're going to hit him in the third time. I think managers are trusting their eyes more this season early on than we have seen in the last couple of years.
Eduardo Nunez bounces one foul. Trusting their eyes, meaning not necessarily giving in to pitch count
pitches,
or third time or
3 times through the order. Just, there have been 7 hits in this game. Both Porcello and Happ have been very stingy in that regard.
And not all 7 of them were rockets or anything either. Wow. And did Martin get hit by something there? Either the ball or backswing or something? He had kind of a funny reaction, but he appears to be.
I think he got hit by the ball in the dirt. The ball was low. Nunez took a wild swing at him. Let's watch this ball. See if it hits the dirt and then bounces up and hits Russell inside the right ankle. You get your body sideways a little bit, and you don't have the protection of that shin guard. That hit him right inside the right ankle because he had his foot angled.
Grounder to short. 2 down.
Super Slow-Mo Cam. Brought to you by Samsung Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus. The camera reimagined. Available now.
Jay Happ pitching with 2 down here in the 7th and a 3-1 lead. Just 90 pitches. Here's Jackie Bradley Jr., who's got one of the Red Sox hits. It was an infield hit his first time. Really, the difference in this game is the base hit that Curtis Granderson had in the second. A hot shot to third off the glove of Rafael Devers, bounced into shallow left, and it cashed in a couple of runs with 2 down.
And Granderson added a double. His next time up, he's 2 for 3.
I'd say the Blue Jays are getting a pretty good return on investment in the early going on Curtis Granderson.
He's been terrific. Not only what he does on the field, what he does prior to the game, what he does with his teammates. He's a consummate professional, and he certainly has done a terrific job since he's put that Blue Jay uniform on. Well, he's done it everywhere he's played. It's been consistent in his career. Levangie, the first-year pitching coach in his 6th season as a coach with the Red Sox. He was the bullpen coach for a long time and gets an opportunity as the pitching coach.
Interesting, all the changes on some big-time teams like the Red Sox, the Yankees, the Nationals. A lot of first-time managers and a lot of significant changes on the coaching staffs for teams that contended last year and are expected to contend this year.
Happ still has good velocity. That last pitch was 95 miles an hour.
Sandy Leon waiting on deck should the inning continue. 2 down, bases empty, and a full count on Bradley.
Interesting. Happ just stared off that sign from Russell Martin. He didn't want to shake. He just looked at Martin until he gave him a second sign. He wanted to throw the fastball on his 3-2 count. Again, Martin offering slider, fastball, slider, and Happ wants to clear his mind, and Russell said, my bad. Now they're set.
Got him. Nasty slider at the bottom of the zone for his 10th strikeout of the game. It's a new season high for J. Happ.
The first 15,000 fans in attendance receive this Josh Donaldson t-shirt. Then join us pregame in the WestJet flight deck for live music and entertainment. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. If you missed it earlier, Donaldson continuing to make progress on that right shoulder. We should hear more tomorrow, according to manager John Gibbons. But, Dan, he is working towards getting into some rehab games, as you mentioned, over the next few days.
So if that happens, if he does get into rehab games, say a few days from now, Buck, how many days from your experience would you say? Let's say he's in a game in 4 or 5 days. How many days of playing until the Blue Jays contemplate bringing him back if there are no issues?
I would think they'd like to see him play 4 games, maybe 5 games. Just get some regular at-bats. And that way, too, you can make sure he gets opportunities to make throws in game conditions. I mean, it's one thing to throw flat ground when you're taking your time and everything else. It's another challenge when you're making throws on the run.
So it doesn't sound like there's any chance, really, he's back on this homestand, 6-game homestand.
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah. Blue Jays, after Boston, have 3 with Texas over the weekend. Here's the ball scorched down the left field line, but it is hooking foul off the facing of the second deck.
Diaz has got some pop, boy. When he gets a fastball and he squares it up, it goes a long way. He just got out in front of this fastball. Remember, Porcello hasn't surrendered a home run all season long, and that was just fouled by a few feet.
Chopper to third, big hop for Devers. A strong throw across to first to get him as we check in with Jamie Campbell. All right, Jamie, thank you. And things could go 1,000 different ways over the course of the season, but Blue Jay fans would be well advised to keep an eye on the Angels. If things were developed, you never know. Those two teams could be in a wild card race. Who knows how it turns out? But with Trout playing so well and Ohtani pitching well, evidently that blister was just a temporary thing. And he's back in there. The Angels also added the likes of Zach Cozart, Ian Kinsler. You know, right now, Buck, you look, there's some really good teams in the American League. There's some really bad teams in the American League. And the middle class is not very big, but you look at teams like the Twins and the Angels, they may be competition for the Blue Jays.
And I'll throw Oakland in there, too. I think Oakland's a team that's going to hang in there. They've got a good offense, and they've got some pretty good starting pitching.
Joe Kelly now up in the bullpen for the Red Sox. Hard throwing right-hander. 1-0 changeup. We've seen that from Porcello. It's in for a strike, and now Ryan Tepera is up, and he has been throwing, and he looks ready. We'll see if he comes in to open up the top of the 8th, or if John Gibbons will send Jay Happ out there to see how it goes. Happ's still there, but did he get handshakes? We'll find out momentarily. Granderson's had a good night. 2 for 3, single and a double. Lines that one into the shift. And that's all for the Blue Jays bottom 7. Will it be Happ or will it be Tepera?
Second inning, Curtis Granderson batting with runners at second and third, and he smokes a ball to third base and takes a bad hop and kicks off the glove of Rafael Devers. 2 runs will come in to score, and the Blue Jays made the most of that inning. They've scored all their runs in that second inning, and it was the only hard hit ball in the inning. They scored 3 runs on just 2 hits, took advantage of a walk and a wild pitch, but Curtis has had a good night. He's 2 for 4 with a double.
And we have some changes going to the top of the 8th inning, including John Gibbons going to the bullpen for right-hander Ryan Tepera.
Tepera, making his 12th appearance of the season, is off to a good start. Opponents hitting just .222 against him. He has added that slider that's very effective against right-handed hitters, but the first batter he's going to face will be a pinch hitter who's come on to bat for the catcher Sandy Leone.
And it's Mitch Moreland. And first pitch fastball down low and ticks off the glove of Russell Martin for ball 1. You can see Moreland's numbers on the year. The Red Sox have themselves some depth. There's no question about that. The acquisition of J.D. Martinez. They've got Hanley Ramirez. They've got a versatile guy in Eduardo Nunez and another one in Brock Holt. And remember, Bogarts, hope to get him back soon. Pedroia's still out. And Tepera misses badly down and in for ball 2.
The Red Sox haven't had a pinch hit all season long. They're 0 for 9 as pinch hitters. Each one in his 0 for 2. So the big first outs of innings looming large right here.
There's a swing and a miss, 2-1. And now Solarte and Diaz are going to crisscross after that swing and a miss. On the corner, a full count.
Tough pitch. Came back with that fastball. Just caught the outside edge. Well, this is a big out. First out of the inning. Got to hit that first guy, and then you face the number 9 hitter with 1 out.
And a ground ball. Hit right to Solarte, who with his typical flair fires on to first, 1 down.
Jay Happ threw 97 pitches, and he was really sharp again tonight. No walks, 10 strikeouts, a season high in strikeouts. He allowed just 4 hits. He did a terrific job. The only run came in on the RBI bloop single off the bat of Hanley Ramirez in the 6th.
Now Brock Holt.
Holt scored that run after he hit a leadoff double down the left field line. Looked like Happ was going to get out of it. He got 2 outs before Ramirez dropped one in front of Kevin Pillar. Tepera was using that changeup as well, something he worked on a lot in spring training. And we saw the value of that changeup for Rick Porcello tonight. Tepera used it very effectively right there on Holt. Porcello was terrific. Blue Jays got 3 runs, and they didn't hit a ball hard in that inning except for Granderson, and it was a ground ball.
Blue Jays opportunistic and also benefited a little bit. The Red Sox gambling. Not gambling, I guess, with the Blue Jays starting a runner in the hit and run, and the Red Sox guessing wrong about which middle infielder would cover second, and Martin found a hole through the right side. That was a big play. And then the big clutch hit with 2 down for Granderson. 1-2. And that one's going to sneak through into right field for a base hit. And that'll bring Mookie Betts to the plate as the potential tying run.
Holt's had a good game. Boy, anytime you get the bottom of your order on base, whether it's a hit or a walk, get him on base, turn the lineup over. Brock Holt has extended his personal hit streak to 7 straight games with a pair of hits here tonight. Travis had a pretty good angle, but that ball was sharp. It hit past him before he had a chance to make a play on it.
So here's Betts. He's 0 for 3. He's 2 for 6 with a double in his career against Ryan Tepera.
Well, that ball had a lot of movement on it. And Betts was looking for a first pitch fastball. He pulled it because it had so much movement. Might have been off the plate inside.
Just outside, a ball and a strike.
Yeah, that's that slider that Tepera has developed and gained confidence in. He can throw it off the plate to right-handers. It's proven to be very effective.
Manager Alex Cora looking on along with Hanley Ramirez. Blue Jays looking to snap their 2-game losing streak. The Red Sox have lost 2 in a row as well, which is 2 of only the 4 losses that they've had all year. They got no hit on Saturday by Sean Manaea, the young left-hander with the A's. No hit him, and then they managed only 6 hits in Sunday's loss, a 4-1 defeat. And they've got only 5 hits here tonight. But they're still 17-4.
Yeah, we mentioned that they won several close games early in the season before the hitters really started to get their timing, and then they started to put up crooked numbers. Before they were no hit on Saturday, the Red Sox had 7 consecutive games with 10 or more hits. So you really got to tip your cap to Sean Manaea, pulling off one of the hottest teams in baseball.
Big pitch coming. Did he go? Yes, he did. Dan Iasonia rings him up at the plate. That's a big second out for Ryan Tepera.
Boy, that's that hard slider. He was so conscious to improve upon. Look at the depth on that breaking ball. He's got more depth. It takes it under the bat of Mookie Betts. He clearly offered at it, and Iasonia rings him up for the second time. Mookie Betts strikes out tonight.
The 2 down. The runner still at first. Shin Vasquez getting ready to come into the game to catch after Leon was lifted for a pinch hitter. And here's Andrew Benintendi to take a slider for a strike. Benintendi struck out all 3 times tonight against Jay Happ. He is happy to see somebody else. 0 for 13 in his career now against Happ. Tried to check it on the appeal. He did not succeed, and it's 0-2.
He's 2 for 2 against Tepera, but he's committed to swinging here. Trying to check, but Kerwin Hanley, the crew chief, up to third, calls him for the swing.
Challenged him, and it's fouled out of play by Benintendi.
Benintendi with his first 3 strikeout game of the season tonight. He's had all kinds of problems, as Dan mentioned. It was against Jay Happ, who he has never had a hit against.
Man on, 2 down, 2-run game. Benintendi won't chase.
Yeah, Happ got him to chase that high fastball all night long.
Holt aboard, being held by Smoak. Now, if you're Tepera, you want to end it right here. You don't want to throw ball 3 and give the runner a head start. You certainly don't want to have to deal with a guy like Hanley Ramirez in the on-deck circle if you can help it.
Sonia got some dirt in his eye. Asked Russell Martin to have a look at it. Appears to be okay now. Yeah. We want to make sure the umps can see.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. And the pitch. Got him. What a job by Ryan Tepera, stranding a runner here in the 8th. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Here are Jamie Campbell and Cliff Floyd in the Samsung broadcast studio.
Yes, it is, because the Blue Jays scored 3 runs in the second inning, and they had some dribblers. They had a hit and run, a little bit of everything, and Porcello retired 16 of the last 18 Blue Jays has faced, and he racked up 9 strikeouts himself. So both starters really represented themselves well here tonight. Now it's another reliever. This is the hard-throwing righty Joe Kelly. He's got the best fastball on the Red Sox bullpen. Making his 10th appearance.
And he threw one at 99 at Tyler Austin a couple of weeks back when the Yankees and Red Sox had that dust-up. So he's facing a suspension. Christian Vasquez is now in behind the plate. Teoscar Hernandez leads it off for the Blue Jays, 0 for 2 with a walk. And Kelly will have his control, can get away from him every now and again. The Austin thing was a different situation. The two teams were going at it, but when it's coming in at 99 and the command comes and goes, you got to be alert in the batter's box there, and Hernandez knows it.
Kelly has been issued a 6-game suspension, but he's appealed that suspension. So that's why he's still able to pitch, and they expect a ruling to be made very soon.
After Hernandez, it'll be Justin Smoak and Yangervis Solarte here in the bottom of the 8th. Blue Jays up 3-1 here in the opener. Starting play 4 games back of the Red Sox for top spot in the American League East. High fly ball to right field. Betts still going back. And on the warning track will make the catch for the first out.
Canada's favorite car cheers for Canada's favorite team. Honda, proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Bottom 8 with the Blue Jays leading by 2, and you know what that means. Roberto Osuna is warming up for a potential save situation. He has been tremendous on the young season. Here's Justin Smoak, 0 for 2 with a walk. What do you think the biggest difference has been for Osuna compared to last year when he had his ups and downs at times?
Fastball command, confidence in his fastball. He's got his velocity back, and he's using his fastball very effectively. Osuna is a very talented young pitcher, and he can do a lot of things with the baseball, but sometimes he got away from his strength, and that was 95, 96 mile an hour fastball in a good location, and he's back to that now.
No 2 to Smoak. And he chases a breaking ball in the dirt, 2 down.
Roberto Osuna is a terrific student of the game, and when you look at the Blue Jays' all-time saves leader, Tom Hickey is the franchise leader with 217 saves. Dwayne Ward 121. He's second, and Roberto Osuna got a real legitimate shot of passing Ward this season. Billy Koch had 100 saves as a Blue Jay.
Big swing and a foul back by Yangervis Solarte. Vasquez coming back for a look, but no play. Couple of strikeouts and a line out tonight for Solarte, who, as you said, Buck, earlier, he's cooled off some now. He's down to 239.
Yeah, it doesn't take long for your average to go up or down early in the season. You put a few offers together, and all of a sudden you're looking at 230, 225.
Gets under it and pops it up right side. And that'll be all for the Blue Jays here in the bottom of the 8th. They go in order, and we're going to the 9th. Blue Jays 3, Red Sox 1. Osuna coming in.
You can count on us to get home safe. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
It is the top of the ninth inning at Rogers Center. The Blue Jays with a 3-1 lead in the first game of three between these division rivals. And you know what that means. Here he is, Roberto Osuna, on looking for save number 7.
What a terrific start to his season. This is his 10th appearance, and look at the numbers. 6 for 6 in save opportunities. The opponent's hitting 129. His whip is .43, and he's averaging 6.75 strikeouts per 9 innings. He hasn't walked a batter this season.
Got some defensive changes for the Blue Jays. Curtis Granderson moves from right field to left field. Teoscar Hernandez is out of the game. Randall Grichuk comes on in right field. Roberto Osuna will have to navigate his way through the heart of the Red Sox lineup. Hanley Ramirez leading it off. JD Martinez on deck. Rafael Devers behind him. 7 terrific innings for Happ tonight. A run on 4 hits. Didn't walk a batter and struck out 10. Ryan Tepera did a great job in the 8th inning. After giving up a base hit to Brock Holt, he struck out Mookie Betts and Andrew Benintendi. And now Osuna trying to nail it down.
With 10 strikeouts tonight, Happ now has 41 for the season. That ties him for second with Chris Sale of the Red Sox. He's racking up the strikeouts in a very consistent fashion.
1-2 on Hanley Ramirez. And a base hit into left field to lead off the top of the 9th inning. Now for a preview of what's coming up next on Sportsnet Central, here are Ken and Ivanka. All right, thanks guys. Yes, Shohei Ohtani, one of the biggest draws in baseball in the early part of the season. Here's JD Martinez. Martinez tonight, a ground out and a couple of strikeouts. He's 0 for 2 in his career against Osuna. Struck out both times. Also has drawn a walk. A guy loaded with power, representing the game's tying run.
Good fastball again, and Martinez was late.
Smoak holding on Ramirez at first. Travis shading Martinez up the middle. Outfielders deep and swung around to the opposite field. As you mentioned, Martinez, a terrific opposite field hitter with power. See how far over towards right center Pilar is.
And they're deep because you want to try to cut off a potential double, which would allow Martinez to get in scoring position representing the tying run.
Breaking ball fouled off. 2-2. As mentioned, we're back with you tomorrow night. Eduardo Rodriguez, a left-hander on the mound for the Red Sox. Aaron Sanchez gets the call for the Blue Jays. 7 o'clock start. The 2-2. Did he go? Yes, he did. Dan Iasonia rings him up. Martinez says at least check down at first. But Iasonia says, no, I got it right here. I say you went around.
Yeah, that's what Martinez was asking the umpire. Hey, man, you got to check that. It's such a tough call for any umpire, but it's the slider in the dirt. Big swing, and it looked like he offered at it, and Iasonia made the call, and J.D. Martinez is saying, hey, man, you got to check. You can see that bat certainly went around, and that's what the umpires go by. He just couldn't hold the barrel back.
So a very big first out for Osuna and the Blue Jays here in the top of the ninth. Here's Rafael Devers, who's 0 for 3. And a fastball drilled in for a strike.
97 down and away.
The Red Sox no hit on Saturday, held to 1 run on Sunday, and held to 1 run thus far tonight. Yet still off to a great start overall, 17-4. Blue Jays 13-8.
The Red Sox came into this series having won 7 in a row here at Rogers Center. Blue Jays trying to snap that.
1-1. Late on it, 1-2.
Yeah, another 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Osuna. Last year, he didn't have his velocity right out of the chute, and he was concerned that he needed to throw other pitches. Well, he's got his velocity back now, and it's effective.
Devers 0 for 3 in his career against Osuna. Blocked by Martin, 2-2.
Oh, what a good job by Russell. He called for that breaking ball, and if he's going to get beat, it's going to be to his right in the dirt, and he squared it up, played it off his chest protector, and keeps Ramirez at first. Watch how he plays his chest protector, bends over at the waist and smothers it right at his feet.
Two on the way. Jams him, and it's over the head of Travis into right field, a base hit. And the Red Sox have 2 men on. And it's a nervous ninth here at Rogers Center right now.
Trying to elevate that fastball, and they get it in on the hands of Devers, but he gets enough of it just to hit it over the head of Travis at second. Osuna got it where he wanted to, but Devers just flares it over the second baseman's head.
So the tying run is at first. With 1 down in the 9th inning, and the batter is Eduardo Nunez. Nunez 0 for 3 tonight, and also 0 for 3 in his career against Osuna.
You know, you hear the phrase reading bats. Pitchers need to read bats and see where hitters at. Well, if you read that last swing from Nunez, he's late on his fastball. And Osuna got the fastball in a good spot, and the best that Nunez could do was foul it over the Red Sox dugout.
So stay with the fastball?
Stay with the fastball. Keep it down and away.
Chopper up the third baseline, foul. And it's no balls, 2 strikes. Marco Estrada will start the 3rd game of the series. Aaron Sanchez alongside him will start tomorrow night. You'll see both of these guys against the Red Sox in the next couple of days. 2 on, 1 out. 3-1 Blue Jays in the ninth. And Osuna way out in front, 0-2. Went away from the fastball.
Yeah, he did. And Nunez was looking for that breaking ball, and he had a pretty good swing at it. Fortunately for Osuna, he got it in a good spot. But his body was all over home plate. He was going out to get that breaking ball. But it was in a great spot for Osuna.
Shaking off Martin a couple of times. Now has the one he wants. Again, the 0-2. And it's lined into right center for a base hit. 1 run is home. Being held at third on the play is Devers on a long single by Nunez that brings Boston within a run.
Well, you got to give Nunez credit. He got to that fastball, stayed on it away, and drives in the second run. Grichuk got over to cut the ball off to keep Nunez from getting into scoring position. It's the four-seam fastball. It's a little bit too much of the plate, but Nunez was thinking about something away. Grichuk does a great job of fielding it cleanly and getting it back to the infield to keep Devers from scoring.
First run that Osuna has allowed this season. And now the tying runs at third. The go-ahead runs at first. Still just 1 out. And the batter was Jackie Bradley Jr. Very tough guy to double up. Left-handed batter with a good speed. Solarte in even with a bag at third. Smoak holding on Nunez at first. Osuna in a jam. 0-1.
The first runs Osuna has surrendered since September 5th. Also against the Red Sox at Fenway.
Oh, and 2. Greg Kimbrell up in the Boston bullpen, just in case his services are needed for the bottom of the ninth. Too high for Bradley to chase. Osuna's up to 21 pitches right now. And he got him. 2 down. I tell you got to have nerves of steel to be a closer, don't you?
You have to have a short memory, that's for sure. He throws the fastball right by Jackie Bradley Jr. And he had good movement on that fastball. Elevates it and gets a big strikeout.
So now it comes down to Roberto Osuna and Christian Vazquez getting his first at bat of the night. After more than pitch hit for Leon back in the 8th. Vazquez 0 for 3 lifetime against Osuna. 0-1.
What I like about it is that Osuna has gone back to the fastball, even though Nunez hit the fastball for the RBI single. He's staying with his best pitch.
Let's see what Martin has in mind.
The Red Sox have struck out 14 times this evening.
Martin wants another fastball. Perfectly located on the outside corner for strike 2. Up to second on the play, though, goes Nunez. Blue Jays were basically conceding it, but now they're a strike away. And Nunez is credited with a stolen base. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. Can Osuna finish it here? Not an insignificant base if Vasquez were to come up with a base hit. Instead of a tie game, it would likely be a 1-run lead for the Red Sox. But Osuna hoping to make that a moot point if he can take care of Vasquez. Not on the same page with Martin.
The Red Sox now have struck out a season high 14 times, including 3 straight games with 10 or more strikeouts.
The 0-2 outside.
Little extra on that fastball at 98.
There's the tying run. Devers down at third. Go ahead run. Nunez at second, but there are 2 down. And the Jays clinging to a 1-run lead here in the 9th inning. And the pitch. Cutter down and away, blocked by Martin. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Again, Martin does a terrific job of keeping that ball in front of him. You never know how those breaking balls are going to react. Sometimes they'll hug the ground and just scoot right underneath it.
We go back to the high fastball here, the 4-seamer. The pitch he got Bradley on. 2-2 on Vasquez.
Again, Osuna wants something other than what was offered by Martin. And Russell trusts Osuna. He said he's got a great feel for things.
They've already agreed on the sign this time before Vasquez steps back in. Osuna's ready to go. 2-2. Check swing, foul up. Boy, a nasty fastball, well located in on his hands. .27 pitches and counting for Osuna. Ready to go with another 2-2. He didn't go, and it's not called a strike, and it's 3-2.
Pretty good pitch. He was in the strike zone according to pitch tracker. And I think there was a lot going on. The check swing, and watch Martin too. He kind of raises up a bit. Then Sonia. I don't know if he saw this or not, but it certainly looked like a strike.
I think Martin was standing up thinking it was going to be strike 3 called. He also pointed down to first. Clearly you could see he didn't go. Either way, it's 3-2. Ball 4 to load the bases. And a long inning gets a little bit longer for Roberto Osuna. There is bullpen activity behind him right now. Sun-Hwan Oh is up in the Blue Jays pen. And Russell Martin's going to give Osuna a breather by taking a slow stroll out to the mound.
Nothing's easy when you play the Red Sox. We had mentioned they have won 7 in a row in this ballpark. And they're trying to snap that. John Gibbons and the Blue Jays trying to break that streak.
So the Red Sox have scored a run to make it 3-2, and they've got the bases loaded. Devers at third, Nunez at second, Vasquez at first with 2 down, and Brock Holt is the batter. Holt's 2 for 3 tonight. 1 for 7 in his career against Osuna. Ball 1. Osuna has been airtight so far this year, but this has been a grind of an inning against the Red Sox. And there's a base hit into left field that will tie it. Nunez getting the way, throw to the plate in plenty of time. And that will end it, but not before Boston ties it. Curtis Granderson having himself a night with a great throw. A little collision between Nunez and Martin. Everybody appears to be okay. But Osuna blows the save. The Red Sox get a couple. As Holt comes up with his third hit of the night. And we're going bottom 9. Tied at 3. Osuna could have been worse. Red Sox could have the lead had it not been for a really good throw from Curtis Granderson.
Holt goes right with the pitch, drives it into left field. Granderson uncorks a terrific throw. Russell Martin takes it on one hop. Nunez didn't slide. And they had a bit of a collision at home. So it's 3-3, and there's a pinch hitter for the Blue Jays.
Andres Morales will bat for Steve Pearce to begin the bottom of the 9th. And not surprisingly, a first pitch curveball. Joe Kelly's got a good fastball. He's proud of it, but everybody knows Morales' reputation as a fastball hitter. So Kelly starts him with a slow curve.
Not anxious to give him that fastball.
The Red Sox with 2 in the top of the 9th to tie it here at Rogers Center. And Lourdes Gurriel getting ready maybe to run if Morales were to reach base. Now the curveball, so curve, slider, curve in the first 3 pitches, and it's 2 balls and a strike.
Morales has 5 walk-off home runs in his career. He had 2 last year. 1 against Oakland and 1 against Baltimore.
Two and 1. And staying away from the fastball. Does he finally give in and throw a fastball here now that it's 3 balls and a strike?
I don't think so. I think he'll throw him a cutter. I don't think he'll throw him a curveball, but I don't think he's real comfortable about throwing a 3-1 fastball in this tie game.
Did not give in. Would not throw him a fastball, and Kelly gets a ground out for the first out. Meanwhile, if it goes to extra innings, it looks like it'll be Tyler Clippard. Russell Martin, the batter. Martin's 1 for 3 tonight. Had a base hit back in the 2nd. Well, Different batter, different situation, and there's your fastball at 99. And a lazy fly ball to right for out number 2.
Kelly's got the best fastball on the Red Sox staff. He has a lot of confidence. You mentioned he can throw it 99, touch 100 from time to time. And he's a very effective late inning reliever in that he can rack up strikeouts and beat you with fastball and the curveball.
So 2 down and the base is empty. Kevin Pillar is the batter, 0 for 3. Picked up an RBI and a fielder's choice back in the second when the Blue Jays scored all 3 of their runs and had 2 of their 3 hits. 12 Jays in a row have been set down.
The last Blue Jay to reach was Smoak back in the 5th when he drew a 2-out walk.
One of the big plays in the game came in the 5th inning. That diving catch by Mookie Betts in right center off Teoscar Hernandez. Looked like the Jays were about ready to extend the lead. 0-1. So 3 curveballs in a row to Pillar. Wouldn't throw a fastball to Morales either. Threw 1 pitch to Martin. It was a fastball, but obviously there's a game plan here. There are certain guys who, the Red Sox, their numbers show them hit the fastball well. Pillar is one of those guys. Morales one of those guys. But you can't look breaking ball when the fastball is 99.
No. It's got to be short and quick.
That's a fair ball. Past a diving Devers. And Pillar on his way to second base and in there with a 2-out double.
Pillar stays on this ball, and you can see it's another breaking ball. This one stays on the inside part of the plate, and Kevin's able to get it past Devers between the third baseman and the third base bag. He swipes at it, but missed it, and Pillar in scoring position with 2 outs.
For Aledmus Diaz. Leading on the mound for the Red Sox. Kimbrel still throwing in the Red Sox pen. Remember, Kelly worked the 8th inning as well, but his pitch count's low. He's only at 19 right now. Cora considering his options right now. Looks like he's going to leave Kelly. He will leave Kelly as Diaz comes up. He's only faced Kelly once, 0 for 1. You said it before, when Diaz pulled 1 foul, Diaz can turn around a fastball.
Yeah, he can get on that fastball, and that's why the pitching coach Hanley Ramirez came out to go over the scouting report. They got a fastball, but flowers it into right.
Mookie Betts is there, and the Blue Jays will leave Pillar on, and that means we are going to extra innings here in Toronto.
episodes of A Swing and a Belt with Dan Shulman every Thursday through the baseball season. Available wherever you get your podcasts. And Dan, who's on this week?
Well, Gibby's on the one that's out right now. Thanks for asking, Hazel. The one that comes out Thursday, Ross Atkins will be on there. Don Cherry talked about Don Cherry's baseball career back in the 1950s. And also Ben Wagner, the radio voice of the Toronto Blue Jays. Meanwhile, we go to the 10th in a 3-3 tie, and the new pitcher is right-hander Tyler Clippard.
Clippard's done a nice job for the Blue Jays in his first season. The opponent's hitting .139 against Clippard.
Top of the order for the Red Sox, beginning with Mookie Betts, who's 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts. The Red Sox, if you're just joining us, got 2 in the top of the 9th off Roberto Osuna to tie the game. And the Blue Jays left a 2-out double by Kevin Pillar aboard in the bottom of the 9th. Clippard, 33 years of age, 11 years in the big leagues. Came up as a Yankee in 2007, but was just there briefly. At some of his best years with Washington, including 32 saves in 2012. Last year pitched for 3 different teams: the White Sox, the Yankees again, and the Astros. Blue Jays are a man down in the bullpen tonight. John Axford not with the team. He's on the bereavement list. And we send our thoughts to John as he is tending to family matters at home. 3-2 the count on Betts. So Benintendi on deck, Hanley Ramirez behind him. We are all knotted at 3 here in the top of the 10th.
The Blue Jays have handled the top 2 in the order very effectively tonight, both Betts and Benintendi. They have gone 0 for 8 with 6 strikeouts.
And Clippard visibly unhappy that he didn't get a strike call on that changeup down near the knees.
Well, that's his go-to pitch. He can throw that changeup just about at will for a strike, and he looked like he caught the bottom of the strike zone with that pitch to Betts. And now this is where Mookie Betts really becomes a problem. Take a look at this last pitch. Is it high enough? Where does it cross? It looked like it was right below the hollow of the knee, and Betts now is a threat to run.
He's only got 2 steals this season, but don't let that deceive you. He's had 26 on a couple of occasions. Not going. Benintendi shows bunt, and he takes outside, ball 1. Got the attention of Solarte at third base. Smoak holding on Betts at first.
Betts has a very aggressive lead at first base, and he's in that abbreviated sprinter stance, if you will. He opens up that right side and gets his foot angled towards second. Well, he looks like he wants to run.
Draws another throw.
Yeah, Tyler is obviously veteran enough to hold the ball, mix up the release times. What you want to do with a good runner like Betts is make him wait on you.
And you can't lose sight of the guy at the plate either. Betts not going, and the bunt pop back foul. 1-1 on Benintendi.
Benintendi does not have a sacrifice bunt this season, but he's got one in each of his last 2 years, and it's something he doesn't do very often. And not many American League teams utilize it much.
I mean, Alex Cora in his career was that type of a player. He got bunts down, he moved runners. You don't see it very often at all. Obviously, tie game, extra innings, so a bit of a different situation here. We'll see if they keep it on again. They do not. It's fouled back, 1-2. You're right. You're almost surprised to see somebody try to get a bunt down these days.
And when was it? I think last night Paul Molitor had Joe Mauer bunt in the first inning against the Yankees. That didn't work.
That's the lead. Clippard sets. Not going. 2-2 on Benintendi with Hanley Ramirez on deck. Another throw to first.
Yeah, he's holding the ball very effectively. You get a base runner like Betts out there. Tom Goodwin is the base running coach as well as the first base coach.
There he goes. And it's bounced foul.
Well, he got a good jump. He really got a good jump that time. He guessed right with Clippard, went on the first move, and fortunately Benintendi had the swing to protect the plate. Watch the move. He is moving before Clippard really picks up that foot. He had it stolen, and Benintendi had to protect the plate with 2 strikes.
Not going this time. But at 3-2, you got to believe he's going to be now.
Well, and you see the impact of a threat of a stolen base at first. Clippard really had his attention divided between Betts at first and Benintendi at the plate. He really missed badly with that last pitch. So now you would think that they're going to start the runner.
He's running. And the 3-2 lifted high in the air to right center field. Not that deep. Pilar is there and will make the catch. A long battle, but Clippard wins it against Benintendi for out number 1. Benintendi is 0 for 5, 4 strikeouts. Couldn't get a bunt down. Couldn't move a runner. He's had a tough night. Here's Hanley Ramirez, who's had a good night. He's got 3 hits in this game. The Red Sox out hitting the Blue Jays 9-4. Tied at 3 here in the 10th. And a one-hop smash to short, to second, one on to first, double play. That'll get it done. Blue Jays coming up, bottom 10. And if you're a fan of Justin Verlander, he is on the mound for Houston tomorrow afternoon, 2 o'clock Eastern time. Meanwhile, we go bottom 10, and here's Craig Kimbrell, closer for the Red Sox. And this is interesting. Most managers will not bring in their closer in a tie game on the road in 9th, 10th, 11th, or whatever the case may be. But the closer is on here for the Red Sox. Now, Kimbrell has not pitched much at all lately, once in the last 8 games, I believe. So why not have your best guy out there?
Yeah, it's kind of curious they bring him in to face the bottom of the order, number 9 hitter. But, of course, he needs to pitch, that's for sure. Like you mentioned, one outing since the 15th of April.
Devin Travis 0 for 3. And a slider for a strike 0-1. Travis, it'll be Granderson and Hernandez. 9-1-2 coming up for the Blue Jays here. Kimbrell, one of the hardest throwers in baseball. And there it is. Red Sox tying it in the 9th. Tyler Clippard doing a good job getting a double play ball top of the 10th. Travis trying to get something started here, bottom 10. Again, the 0-2. And a little bit high. Porcello wins 7. Kelly worked a couple of innings for the Red Sox, and now Kimbrell on in the 10th. Outside. Travis has taken a couple of close pitches.
And that fastball just missed the outside corner. Kimbrell, 2-pitch pitcher, a hard breaking ball, and that good fastball.
The 2-2. And that's strike 3 called, and no argument from Travis.
Yeah, you just have in the back of your mind, maybe he's going to throw me that breaking ball with 2 strikes, and then he hits the outside corner with that fastball, and you can't pull the trigger. Just a good fastball located on the outer edge, and that's the first out of the bottom of the 10th.
Top of the order now, Curtis Granderson, who's had a really good night. He's 2 for 4, a single, a double, and 2 RBIs, and a throw to the plate in the 9th inning that prevented the go-ahead run from scoring. Oh for 5, 3 strikeouts in his career against Kimbrell.
Got this, Curtis.
Shift on against Granderson. Devers hanging out near third base in case Granderson thinks about dropping a bunt down for a base hit. And now he's backing off. He's been told by the dugout we don't think he's going to do it anymore. So Devers moves a little bit deeper and a little bit more to his left. (2-0). And a swing and a high fly ball deep right field, and this game is over. What a night for Curtis Granderson. At 37 years of age, he can still turn one around, and he does it to give the Blue Jays a walk-off win.
Granderson cut down the go-ahead run with a terrific throw from left field in the 9th inning, and he hammered that thing. His 4th career walk-off home run, his first walk-off home run since September of 2016, playing with the Mets. What a night for Curtis Granderson, and that snaps the Red Sox winning streak of 7 straight wins here at Rogers Center.
Red Sox have now lost 3 in a row overall. The Blue Jays snap their 2-game losing streak in dramatic fashion with Curtis Granderson walking it off to move the Jays to 14-8, get it within 3 games of Boston for top spot of the division. A lot of excitement for this team as Granderson takes one of the very best in the game deep, and in Buck, it was a no-doubter.
No-doubter for sure. He got that fastball out over the plate, and this one was gone the moment it hit the bat. Way up there off the facing of that 4th deck, and Curtis, he squared it up. His 3rd home run of the season, and as we mentioned, his 4th career walk-off home run. What a pretty swing. Granderson with a 3-hit game and a 3 RBI game with the game winner here tonight.
And the Blue Jays take the opener of this series against their division rivals. And having some fun doing it. After blowing the save in the 9th, they win it in the 10th. And Curtis Granderson, a happy guy right now. He's with Hazelman.
He is a very happy guy. So are Blue Jays fans. Congratulations on your 4th career walk-off home run. You know Craig Kimbrell is one of the best at what he does. He's one of the hardest throws in the game. So what's the game plan, Curtis, as you're facing him? You were 0 for 5 with 3 Ks going against him.
And I knew that, that early as in our game. I saw you move, so I was able to get out.
I tried.
Yeah.
I tried.
I know I hadn't had much success against. Oh, no.
That should cool off a hot-hitting Curtis Granderson. Yeah, facing him is tough.
Yes, it has been. Career-wise, I haven't seen the ball very well off of him. The biggest thing I just try to tell myself today is just allow yourself some time. Don't rush. Don't panic.
The Red Sox have now lost 3 in a row, but they're red hot coming into this. What does taking the series opener do for you and your teammates moving forward?
Well, it's a great thing, especially since we went to Yankee Stadium. We didn't get a chance to do what we wanted to over there. We had an off day, able to rest, come back, get a chance to play in front of the home crowd, pick up the first game of the series. But the big thing is we got to realize it's not over with. We got 2 more tough games against some great pitching and some great offense over there.
Listen, 37 is the new 27 as far as I'm concerned. I know you were bitterly disappointed being off that playoff roster for the LA Dodgers last postseason. You seem to have reinvigorated yourself, with this Blue Jays team. What's been the biggest difference for you?
Biggest thing is just coming in and continuing to try to have as much fun as possible, keep it loose and relaxed. Feeding off the guys over here. There's a bunch of great guys with a lot of talent, a lot of energy from the outfield, the infield, the pitching staff, and the coaching staff. So they keep me young, and they're moving me around out there, making me run around a little bit. So I'm just trying to stay up with them.
All right, Curtis Granderson, congratulations. Going to happen to a nicer guy. Enjoy this one. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
All right, Curtis Granderson and the Blue Jays take game 1 of this 3-game set against the first place Boston Red Sox, guys.
And he got quite a post-game shower to celebrate. The Blue Jays win in extra innings. Let's go to Sportsnet Central now. Once again, Ken and Ivanka.